So how do they do it? Well, it's so simple. It's just a bookkeeping entry. And the thing is, the banks will tell you they don't create it. They say they're intermediaries. We're taught they're intermediaries, but they're not. They create this money. Let me give you an example. Let's say myself and this lady here, both our bank accounts that say exactly zero. We've got no money between us. Now let's say this lady here does some work for me, and that worked brilliant, and I agreed to pay her £500. We've got no money, so we're in trouble. But fortunately, the bank's told me I can have a £500 overdraft. So I get this lady's bank account details, I go online, and I transfer £500 from my account to her account. Let's just stop and look at the bank accounts from here. This lady's bank account now says she's got £500. That's just £500 in money. She could go and give it to any of you lot, and you would be happy that that's money. That money now exists in the economy, and it's going to disappear into all of your hands. But it only exists because in my bank account, I have something that says minus £500. If you add them together, they head back to zero. The banks say, we haven't created money, look, it's all that's to zero. But you try telling that to that lady there who's got £500 in her bank account. You try telling that to all the people she's paying with that £500. You try telling that to the government who she's paying her taxes with that £500. And that's a very simple example using an overdraft. But the same double entry bookkeeping where they record a positive half of the money and a negative half of the money that add up to zero takes place through loans, through overdrafts, through credit cards, through mortgages. All the mechanisms that banks have of extending credit, they create money. Now at this point, you get people saying things like, but wait a minute, mate, I've got £5,000 in my bank, you tell me that's not real money. Oh no, it is real money to you. You can spend that money and people will accept it. But it only exists because somewhere else is a minus 5,000. And that's the key. All money is created by this double entry bookkeeping. And it's created in two parts. You have a positive interest gaining part and a negative interest paying part. And that's the simple truth of it. And the banks will tell you they're not creating money. That's a lie. 97% of our entire money supply is created as debt. And that's where the problems start to come in. Because it's the banks themselves that determine the size of our money supply. So in boom times, they're happy as Larry. They're telling their workers, extend as many loans as you can, create as much money as you can, because it's profit for the banks. They create as much as they can because it's profit for them. And everybody's happy. They're creating too much money. We're told that boom time's a good time, but it's not. It's a massively inflationary time. But they're creating as much money as they want, and there's nothing to stop them. And then a bank falls, another bank wobbles. The banks get scared. And they stop creating money. So in a bust time, they don't create any money. Suddenly our money supply dries up. The very thing we need as a society to function dries up and disappears. And there's nothing we can do to make them lend again. The only thing that makes a bank lend or not lend is their will, their confidence in each other, their confidence in us. There's nothing the government can do to make them lend. They wish they could. But you see all the measures they've been taking, they've all failed. They lowered interest rates as much as they could. Interest rates. Is that the price of money? Oh, sir, what do you buy money with? That didn't work. Next thing they do, quantitative easing. They think, okay, well if we put some base money into the banks, that's going to make them lend more debt to us. No, it didn't work. And this is where people will spout about fractional reserve banking, which I'm not going to go into. This is the thing that proves them wrong. Because they think that if there's more base money, it's going to lead to more debt money. That's not true, the bank's just sat in it. Now the government's toothless. There's nothing it can do to make the banks lend. So the only difference between a boom time and a bust time is money supply. Every single recession and depression in history has come about from the money supply shrinking. Because not only do the banks stop lending money, but what happens then? That confidence seeps through to us. So we start to pay down our debt. In fact, we're encouraged to pay down our debt. Well, let's reverse the process of me and this lady creating £500. Let's say I get £500 from somebody and I pay off the overdraft. That £500 disappears from the economy. And the money supply shrinks. And that is why we're in the mess. Because our money supply is shrinking. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. Because the banks have total control over how much credit is created and when. They create too much when they're confident and not enough when they're not. And they've shown time and time again that they cannot handle the responsibility of determining our money supply. Now the next question I have is, why aren't people stopping this? Why aren't people shouting about this? And the truth of that is, not many people know about it. Some of the worst people to try and convince of this are economists, because they're not taught about it. They're taught that the money supply is neutral, that banks are mere intermediaries, that banks should take money from one place and move it to another. They're not taught that the banks control the entire size and shape of our economy. And to test this, I bought Oxford University's undergraduate macroeconomics textbook, the one that they use in their PPE course, the Philosophy, Politics, Economics course. The course that 19 of the last 20 Prime Ministers attended. And yeah, true enough, they're told that money is neutral and banks are intermediaries and everything's okay, go about putting your economics wherever you want. That's why they don't do anything about it, because they don't know. But it's very difficult to tell an economist they don't know, because you're undermining the whole of their education. But actually, economics, what is it? It's propaganda masquerading as science. That's what it is. David Cameron doesn't know. He's proven he doesn't know. We can tell he doesn't know from the language he uses. He gets into power and he's telling us to pay down our debt. Okay, so we do it. The money supply shrinks. Oh, we're in trouble. So then he starts to say, okay, how do I get the banks lending again? So his solution to a debt crisis is more debt. And that's where we get into Einstein territory and madness. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Because the only way out of a debt crisis is more debt. Because that's the only way that we can get more money. Because it's all created.